On this BuMpY 50-point inspection from Stoneface Brewing Company out of Newington, New Hampshire, I have a double IPA, or I'd say it's a double New England IPA. They just put New England IPA. It's called Scales. It's 8.2% ABV, and the hops that are used in this are Citra Mosaic Cryo Blend. So, fairly fresh. It's, I'd say about 3 weeks old at the time of this inspection. There's no real information on this brewery on their own website. They just kind of show you the beers that they have, and they, have a menu. You can go there and eat and everything, and they sell merchandise. But I searched around a little bit, and I did find a little write-up about Stoneface. So it says, brewing beer we like on the seacoast in New Hampshire since 2014. We like a lot of different beers. We feature hop-forward IPAs and pales, interesting lagers, delicious dark ales, and a growing sour program. The list goes on and on. Our lineup of flavorful beers can be found throughout New England. If you visit us in Newington, New Hampshire, you'll find 12 taps of our own beer, tasty food, beer to go, friendly staff, and carefully curated playlists. Alright, well, let's go ahead and crack into Scales and put it through this inspection. Alright, so there's pretty big aromas coming out of the can right when I first popped it open, but we'll get to that. The head on this, it's very tight, frothy. I'd say it's a bit off-white, just a little bit. The color of the beer itself is like a murky, goldish brown coloration. It does, it's kind of got this haze to it and stuff. Not the prettiest of colors, but still doable. Alright, some aromas. I'd say giant grapefruit, some pineapple, but I mean, it's like grapefruit smashed in your face. Bit of that kind of orange, citrusy note. Tad bit on the floral side, like that light floral. I'll call that lychee. I'll go with lychee with it. A little bit of a sweet bread note. I would say a touch of a melon aroma as well. Okay, let's get into this one. Cheers. A little bit of a hay type note, some of that kind of sweet bready malt, kind of grassy, very fruit forward with the hops. I'd say it's more on the orange side, right up front. There's a tad bit of a sweetness to this one. Like I said, I think it's that kind of sweet bready malt. Medium to full body, medium carbonation. Does seem to have a stickiness to the palate on the lips a little bit. Just very kind of citrus forward. The bitterness, I'd say, is moderate, and it kind of stays on that kind of citrus, maybe a slight bit of a pininess. The tail end bitterness, citrus rind, like 8.2% ABV. I think there's a starting point as it starts to get into that bitterness where it's like, am I tasting a bit of alcohol, or is that just kind of that deep orange rind and pininess? Don't feel the alcohol, but it is, like I said, like a medium to full body, probably pushing closer to a full body on this one. So it is a filling beer. All right, well, let's put a score to this one. Okay. Yeah, I was looking at that brown kind of color that it had when the glass was more full. As it goes down, it does brighten up just a little bit. But it leaves good lacing. It falls into the kind of SRM that these brews will sometimes fall into. I do think that the lighter, brighter colors are more eye appealing. But for the appearance, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 6. Aromas on it, like I said, it had a ton of aromas coming out of this. Pretty potent. You get some of the kind of malt note as well as some nice hop aromas coming through. I felt the hops were working really well, and the aromatics 10 out of 10. On the flavors, the bready malt did come through, that kind of bready sweetness. But at first I was picking up that kind of like hay and grassy note. It's a little bit Now some of that could be coming from the hops, maybe being fresher, but I mean it was cryo hopped, and that's supposed to take out a lot of the extra grassy crap that would be attached to either using full cone hops or pellet hops. You get some of that vegetable matter, and that can be kind of, give it some of that real green effect. So I'm not sure. I think at that point, with this being more of a cryo hop blend, I'm thinking that kind of hay and grassy note was actually coming from something with the malts. So little ding on the malt flavor just because of that. The hops also didn't give off a giant array on my palate like they were in the aromatics of this brew. It seemed to be one-sided for the most part. 1 to 2 sides, citrus and pine, right? So dinging a few points there on the hops. If it came through more like I was getting on the aromas, it would have been much better. Balance on it was fine. It balanced out with the hoppiness, the bitterness, the malt. All that was good. Carbonation is good. Aftertaste, like I said, it was kind of getting to that. Am I tasting alcohol? Is it the piney citrus rindiness? Yeah, so I'm going to give the flavor score of 15 out of 19. The body on this one, it's pretty full, medium to full. Said I think more on the full side. It is kind of sticky, but it's a nice body. It works well with this beer. You can definitely sit back and take your time and drink this one because it does fill you up. It's like eating potatoes. 5 out of 5 for the body though. My overall on this, I'm at an 8 out of 10. I do wish that like I said, the hop flavors came through a bit more like they did in the aromatics, because the aromatics were awesome. So for scales, New England IPA from Stoneface Brewing Company. It's going to get a bumpy 44 out of 50, which is going to land this as a very good beer. I want to say thank you all for watching. Cheers.